Hey, good afternoon, whatever time of day this is for you. It's that time of day for us because this is a pre recorded thing, which would air at a later time. Because everything that's done, that's aired, that I do, Jan does, is all pre done.
Yes.
So, at whatever time of day that you watch it, does not necessarily mean it's recorded at that same exact moment. Um, Jan is alongside with me. Hey, Jan.
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody.
So, Jan, from what I understand, you've got some things you'd like to share.
I really do. First of all, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Steve, for having me on. I
Mhm.
have this extra opportunity during the week that I don't necessarily get even with the other videos because one I'm under a time constraint, the no frills for 5 minutes and below, and then the other ones I'm like more item specific about stuff. So thanks again, Steve.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. You know what it is? I am of the belief that all the little things that we do add up.
Hmm.
It could either be in a negative way or a positive way. So let's focus on the positive. Steve, I touched upon a really serious subject recently. I've been watching some TV shows that are TV shows, wrong, scratch that. On here on this platform shows videos about real life court sessions. And many of the ones I watch are about landlord and tenant disputes, just out of sheer curiosity. And I realized something, Steve, that there are a lot of people out there with an unfortunate thing facing eviction. That is a scary place to be. This is a place I don't want anybody ever in and watching those. It's just like horrible. And some videos actually show people getting evicted. I don't mean to get too serious on here, but it's just a reminder of why we need to save, that an
Right.
ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Because like I was sitting there, Steve, watching some of the little situations, the little trials, if you will. And I'm saying to myself, well, why couldn't this have been avoided? Why couldn't this have been like I'm always trying to like fix things ahead of time. But guess what, Steve? There are two kinds of evictions that happen. One that comes from a non payment of rent.
Right.
And the other one is, well, that homeowner has every legal right, even if you're a great tenant and even if you've paid all your rent on time, pretty much at any time, that homeowner pretty much has really the right to say bye-bye. What happens in those cases? Let's say if a person is just living on the edge marginally and they always and only have enough perfectly every month just for that month's rent, and then they get like a 10-day notice. Bye. Whoa. That is a scary place to be, even if you're the most perfect tenant. And even if you're a nice person, a person can end up owing back rent because they had faced unexpected job loss, or their
Mhm.
unemployment is taken forever and a day to come through.
Yeah.
This is See what I mean, Steve? This is why I sound repetitive about emphasizing saving. Can we emphasize saving too much, or what do you think about that, Steve?
Well, I mean, if coming back to what you were just mentioning, if you're given a notice to have to evict the property or come up with whatever, amount of rent is owed, well, if you're only given 10 days, sometimes 10 days is very difficult to just up and pack your bags and leave. It's not, no, usually, um, from what I can remember, what I'm familiar with in this case, you're usually given a 30-day notice, not,
And it all varies too, I believe, from state to state. So, like, don't like quote Janet said anything on this. This is
yeah,
something, look it up if you're like anywhere near, facing eviction or anything. Please, and that's really important. Thankfully, the information is out there. Look it up. Usually, Steve, on these trial things that I've been watching, hearings, if you will, that I've been watching, usually what I have seen in the state of Michigan, from where this court comes from, what they usually do by law is they continue it, they adjourn it for a week. So there's another 7 days, right?
Hmm.
And actually 3 business days before anything can be enforced. So literally it's 10 days. And then after that, if nothing happens or whatever, they have to still come to a resolution. Then I believe it's giving extra time, maybe another week or something like that. But people have to look this up and just forgetting even to do that. Just be prepared for anything, any
Yeah.
possibility financially.
Well, it's funny that you happen to come up on the eviction thing. This happened um, a long time ago. I I was only about 11, 12 years old at the time that it took place, but once upon a time, um, my parents actually fell into some financial hardship. No choice. It was not something that they had planned. Remember, one minute you can be,
Right,
and then the next minute you can be way down here.
right.
So we, or rather, they were given where we were living at the time. Um, we were told we had to, you know, because we were in a mobile home, we were told we had to move out. And again, it was a 30-day notice, if I remember. It was quite a while back. It was pretty good ways. Like I said, I'm going to be 49 in about 3 months, but I was coming up on 12 when this happened. So you can see how many years back it was. But we were able to save ourselves, or they were able to save themselves from that. Well, no, what they wound up having to do is they had to go and get an attorney. And the attorney is actually what saved, from having to be taken out of there. And luckily, mom and dad won their case. So that's what kept them, you know. But you're right, though. Um, Never think because you got it good and you're way up here, top of the Chrysler building. Oh, I'm good. Nothing can happen. No, you can't say that. You can't do that because life is unpredictable. You can be fabulous. You can be doing great one minute. The next minute, it can be all taken away from you. So you never want to feel like you're better than everybody else. And
No.
I don't play that.
No, I don't roll that way either. That's not for me. This
No.
is why, Steve, it is so vitally important to start small. It's
Yeah.
not about the small or the big, it's about the let's get started thing. Let's get started. Why? Because watch some of those cases, okay? So I hooked up a link in the recent video upload that uploaded on Friday. The
Hmm.
link is there to to that channel that I'm specifying about. We need to get like more educated about these things because there is actually a really big problem in general. I just heard, not to get into it too much, that there was yet another, I think, what, the 11th interest rate hike. Hello, more of another reason to slow down with the credit cards. It just happened, I think, was it yesterday or was it today? That the interest went up again. So
Oh, lovely.
yeah, lovely for many people.
Well,
So that's why let's do little savings here and there, cut down on certain things, increase other things. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
no, the only thing I was going to say is keep raising the interest rates because all you're doing, and this is a pretty well known fact, people that owe money, people that are in debt, how can everybody can save money? Yes, we can. $1 a day, $2 a day, whatever a day. But if you got interest rates going up a half of a percent, one half, another half, they say that the inflation is slowing down. Really? Why am I still going out and paying huge amounts of money for my groceries? That's ridiculous. I myself, being on a certain amount of income, I can't live. No, I cannot live.
It's
So,
not even funny. Any one of us, would they tell us on the news? Oh, it's so much better.
well, coming back to the interest rate thing on the credit card is if people owe money on their credit card, 6, 7, 8, 9,000. Let's say you've got 15,000 set aside. Well, I'm just using a figure. You're good, and a person can't do a balance transfer. Their credit rating is in a good position, and all this and all that. All you're doing is you're forcing the consumer to pull out that money that was saved in order to get them out of debt. Okay, so you're out of debt. You don't owe any money. Okay, that's a good thing. Sure, that's going to bump your credit score up a few points. It's going to loosen up your credit utilization and all that. But what good is that really going to do? Now you're only left with a few $1,000s. Now you got to go back and resave it up all over again. So with this interest rate going up, you're doing is you're making the consumer pay out more money is what you're doing. You're not helping the consumer. You're hurting
It's
the consumer.
they're trying to slow down people from spending. Has it worked? I'm
No.
not sure, but I'm no economist. I'm not
Mm-mm.
quite sure. I still hear tons of story of credit card this, credit card that. How about either you don't spend and stop overtly utilizing credit cards for the wrong reason.
Yeah. No, anything like your original saying that you had mentioned several times over in your videos, which is correct. Yeah, technically a credit card is something that is a short-term thing. You have a charge, you have it a couple of 3, maybe 4 months at most, knock it out. A credit card was never something that was invented for somebody to go into debt for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. It was never put on earth for that purpose. It's credit. It's supposed to be a helping hand, not something to hurt you in the long run, if
You
it's used
nailed it. You
correctly.
nailed it.
So,
It's you nailed it. It is not to be lived on. See, here's the problem.
no.
Some people live on their credit card. That's a problem. That is, I mean, examine. Let's think about it. Why should anyone be living on a credit card?
Mhm.
Right away, it's like you're stealing from your future. But without getting too technical on that, let's focus on what we can do in terms of prevention.
Yeah.
Save money, right? Save money at the grocery store. Remember that wonderful show we did a few weeks back about calculating in a year, like even like down to what potato chips, popcorn, the
Oh,
yearly
yeah.
saving. I
Right.
mean,
Where you go shopping and instead of buying 3 bags of something, take 1 out of the equation, maybe 2 out of the equation, or if you can really get by without buying it at all, do that. No, I remember the video. Yeah, it was maybe a couple, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks back. I know the exact video you're talking about. No, any improvement, yeah. If I remember, it was like if you take out 1 bag of chips, which a bag of chips now is like 3, $4, which I think is absurd. Um,
yeah.
yeah, think about how much that is. Let's say you go shopping twice a month. That's 3, 6. That's $72 you're saving. Doesn't sound like a lot, but
But it is a lot because if you add that to another item that you cut back on and add that to another item, and another thing people
yes.
forget to do, Steve, they do not totally calculate their job before they go on a job interview, their salary requirement.
Hmm.
You have to know, and you have to include your car fare, your gas,
Yeah.
your everything. You have to do this in advance. You got to do your homework in advance. But these, you see, Steve, this goes back to the beginning of this video. All these little steps that we take, they're not earth shattering to do. They're just like preventative measures or little strategies. Taking lunch to work instead of spending 10 a day. Really? No. For lunch? No. Take your lunch to work. Spend $1 a day from home.
Oh yeah. No, because if you think about, yeah, okay. Here's an example. Not the greatest thing to talk about as far as a lunch, but I'll bring it up. Okay, if you go to a little concession stand or whatever you want to talk about, or a little hot dog cart, y- a, a, a hot dog, a bag of chips, and a drink can easily run you in excess of $6. I don't know what it
Yes.
cost. I haven't ordered a hot dog combo like that in so long. I'm just taking a wild guess. I don't know what it runs, but I would say at minimum $6, could be higher.
That's right.
Why do that? You could make think about something. You could go to the store, like I have the wholesale club. For $10, I can go buy a whole pack of Nathan's hot dogs.
Right. Right.
What is hot dog buns gonna run me? What a You don't have to buy the best one there. What, a buck
Right.
50, $2 a thing for 8?
Exactly.
Look at how many more you can make. Just using
Exactly.
If you don't want Nathan's, Hebrew is one that I buy, and I also buy another one called Sabrett, Sabrett.
Oh,
And now if
I
you
just had a Sad Bread hot dog.
Oh,
That's
did
like a
you?
New York treat. Yeah,
Right,
not
so
this day, but about a week ago. Yeah.
yeah. So you got different brands of hot dogs. There's one called Dietz and Watson. That's another good brand.
Yummy. That's good stuff.
And then the best one that I've only had one time and I
Love
haven't been able to
best.
find it.
Yeah.
So, no, make your own. It's a lot cheaper. I go into the store. Here's a good example. We talked about it the other day about recipes. Why do I want to pay $15 for a cheesecake, not when I can put one together for 5 or 6?
Exactly.
And I might even have a little bit of money left over because think about it, a gallon of milk, half a gallon of milk, if you want to go the box of pudding, you know, cream cheese, that's 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm already at 2, 4. I'm already at 4. A pie crust, 5.50. So yeah, so about no more than about $7 at most. I could make half of what it costs to make one. I can
Right.
make my own cream uh, cheesecake. You know,
You know
no,
what,
so
Steve? Go ahead.
no, it's better to just think things out. And what's nice about the cheesecake is it's a no bake recipe. You mix all the ingredients together, you put it in the pie crust, add your whipped cream, put it in the fridge for 2 hours, take it out, and you've got your dessert made. That's it.
Amazing. But here's the critical point, Steve. I want to mention to your wonderful, wonderful viewers.
Hmm.
Okay. At that point, make sure you save. Now, what do you mean by that, Jen? In the beginning of the week, let's say Sunday, sit down with a cup of coffee, mid afternoon, or tea, or whatever you drink, cold lemonade, whatever it is. Sit down in peace and quiet where you can focus, maybe put on your favorite music and create a strategy. Example, Steve. This week, I plan on keeping $25 in my pocket or in my piggy bank or in an envelope. I plan on it. You have to make a plan. Then you think, well, what could I do to make it happen? Take the necessary steps. If you have to write it down, fine. It's a plan and follow it. Like you just mentioned, a wonderful option, with saving this versus spending a gazillion dollars on cheesecake. Okay.
Hmm.
You might be saving literally $10. If you literally save that $10, like literally take that number, take the 10, walk it over to a piggy bank or an envelope or a wallet. And if you don't do it that way, do it digitally on your phone.
Yeah.
Take that 10 and move it over into your electronic savings. Does that sound unreasonable, Steve?
No. No. No, not at all. You can do mobile banking on your phone. It's 2 clicks. You go from the amount to, and you
It's a
hit.
pleasure. It's a pleasure to do things like that. But the idea of being mindful. So let's say that you decide to have that Sabret hot dog like you just mentioned at home for lunch. Steve, you know what kills me? People that work from home ordering in lunch. I'm like, no, this no. Really? Did I really hear this? Like, no, no. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's a waste of money.
You're at home, you got a kitchen behind you or to your left or to your right or whatever, and you have the opportunity to fix your own meals, but you're gonna order out. That
Right. Ridiculous.
No, there's a disconnect there. I don't Something doesn't add up. No, I'm gonna prepare my own food.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with takeout. No, there's not, or going to get it, or dining out. There's
If
nothing
you
wrong.
if you can afford it, you could do it once in a while, but if you can't afford it and you're worried about your rent maybe one day, no.
Cook your own, right?
And another thing, Steve, even for people that don't have a full-fledged kitchen, I think maybe once again you and I revisit that topic on a show in the future
Hmm.
about people that don't have a full kitchen. You could buy shelf-stable food, still less expensive than going out or ordering in or paying the tip.
You can.
So there are options. Anyway, Steve, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. No, no problem at all. You know, glad everybody could be here with us, whatever time of day it might be, because
Yeah,
it being YouTube, I've talked to people on YouTube that it's nighttime here, but daytime over there. It
true.
just depends on where you're at. So, all right. Glad everybody could join us, today. Much appreciated, and we'll see you guys back here next time. So, have a good one.